So you're getting ready for your EX200 exam. Come and check it out. These points are very important and may break or break your exam success. Come and check it out with me. So you are aiming to do the EX200 exam and you want some points and tips. Stay with me. If you watch this video until the end, it will make your life much easier. If you don't watch, well, you're a little bit on your own. So at this point in time, what do we know about the exam? So at this point in time, at the time of recording of this video, this is all based on RHEL 9. So the exact version should be something around RHEL 9.3, 9.4, based on my latest information. If you have some more relevant or more up-to-date numbers, so which exact version, RHEL version they are using, please put it down in the comments below. And you can just share that information and put that information around. So at this point in time, you're using RHEL 9, around RHEL 9.4. This is my latest information. It doesn't mean that it's completely accurate or completely current. If you have more current information, please share with all the community. Our community has been growing, and I'm very proud of us all about that. So if this progresses in the future to RHEL 10, the exam content should stay around about the same, but I'll keep you updated all about that. Like, subscribe, and comment to get up to date on all of that, and you get that information as soon as I get it. Okay, so what do we know at this point in time more? Max score is 300, which means you can have your max score if you get everything right, everything perfectly okay, everything is just done perfectly, you can get 300 points. Should you worry too much about getting 300 points? Should this be a kind of a goal of yours? I would say no, but depends on your personality, depends how to manage your stuff. It's all about in the individual decision. Should you focus on having max points? Well, that's again your own prerogative. Just worry to get enough points to pass your exam and get your life forward, and get that promotion your boss promised you, or anything of that nature. So how do you pass? You need to have 210 points of, as you know, around, you have max 300s. To pass you need 210, and which represents around 70%. If you're watching this in the short form, come and join us on the long form video, and I'll see you there. Like, subscribe, and comment. For the people who are watching this on the long form, here we go. So time duration, there are different reports at this time. Some people say it's 2.5 hours. If you check the official RHEL Red Hat documentation online, you say that most of them show 2.5 hours. But I have been people on the community report that it's 3 hours. So let me get my coffee, get my system going. So people have reported to be 3 hours long. So there are some contradictory information. Some people say to have 2.5 hours, which has been my own experience, but some people have reported to be 3 hours. Let me know in the comments below how long your exam you are expected to be. If you already done the exam recently, let me know. Let me know how long was it, and how much time you were allowed to do. This may vary a little bit depending on your worldwide location. It may have some things they consider. For example, if you are not a native speaking person in English, so even though they offer the exams in different languages, I do not recommend you guys do the exam on different language than in English, because sometimes the translations can be a little bit harsh and may lead to more to errors than to help you out by using your own language. If you don't understand English, well, you have to do it in a different language, but I don't recommend doing something different than English, because the translations can be rough, and they can kind of put you into some mistakes throughout the exam. So I have seen reports that is 2.5 hours. I have seen reports that is 3 hours. Let me know in the comments below if you have done the exam recently, so all the community knows how long is it at this point in time. So important points to take care. This may make or break your exam. Make sure FirewallD is enabled at all times. Don't finish the exam with FirewallD disabled. If you feel that FirewallD is causing you issues, you need to fix them with some simple rules. You don't have to make crazy rules. some port exceptions and all that good stuff should be good enough. And also make sure that SL Linux is enabled at all times. So don't finish the exam. Don't say I'm done. And if you can disable it for some testing. Let's say you suspect that SL Linux is causing you some problems, and you think that you did everything right, but SL Linux may be causing some issues. You can disable it, do a quick test, but keep it enabled at all times, and make sure that firewall-D and SL Linux are enabled on the next reboot, because, I mean, persistently on every reboot, because the first thing they do before they grade your exam is to reboot your virtual machines, okay? So if they reboot your virtual machines and things get disabled, you will get less marks, even if sometimes it happens, they see that firewall-D and SL Linux are disabled at boot and they just give you 0. No grading whatsoever, you just fail altogether, okay? So make sure that firewall-D it's enabled for the reboots, and they are always enabled. Also, if you have that kind of mind presence and time, do a last reboot before you consider or you say I am done. Okay, so before you say I'm done, I'm concluded, bye bye. Make a couple of reboots on your VMs and make sure that they survive the reboot and everything it's okay after the reboot. Because if they don't survive the reboot, if they fail the boot or something like that, you will get 0 marks, and that's just actually very sad. Okay. Okay, there are another question I get a lot. It's about this. There are no specific way to execute the tasks. For example, recently I got asked on a separate video. I am more familiar with the X tool about disk partitioning. So I'm not familiar with fdisk or parted. I am familiar with a different tool. Can I use it? Yes, you are fine to using a different tool, but be careful. They are not being able to pull tools from the internet. So you can, if there are tools that can be found on the regular RHEL CD or DVD on a regular, internet is out of the question. So you are completely offline. The VMs are completely offline. So if it's a tool that you can get from a regular DVD repository, you are golden. Use whatever tool you want. Just don't depend on tools you pull from the internet. Okay, you can only use tools that are available on the actual DVD or the installation media. Don't rely on tools that are pulled from the internet. Okay, they are not giving you internet access whatsoever on the test machines. So if there are tools that can be pulled from the repository itself, you are golden. If not, you are SOL. Okay. You can do the tasks in any order, so it doesn't matter if you start with task 1 or task 5, it doesn't really matter. However, some tasks depend on others. For example, one of the first tasks that they may ask you is recover the root password. So if you don't have the root password, you cannot do nothing, of course, right? So even though the order doesn't really matter, sometimes you need to follow the order so you can progress successfully, but sometimes it doesn't really matter. Imagine task 1 is to install a web server, and task 3 is about partitioning. You can do whatever you like. You can do whatever the order, and unless they are somewhat interconnected. But if they're not interconnected, you are free to use any order you would prefer without any issues. Okay. However, some things you need to be quite literal. If they say that IP address is that one, it needs to be that one. If they say that the host name is that one, you need to use that one. So those things need to be quite literal. They are not free to change. So if they say the server needs to be called server A.something.something, just go ahead and follow along. Don't make up a name that you think it's better. Follow along the host names, follow along the IP addresses, default gateways, DNS servers. All of that, that needs to be quite literal, but of course you would understand so, right? Cool. Okay, now this note here, it's about my own exercises here. This is my my free analysis and my free representation of the questions. I have videos all about executing the questions or the tasks. And I'm going to quickly review all the tasks here for you, guys, okay? But this is my own representation, my own version of the exams that it's 99.9% the same, but it's my own version of the exam, so I can help you out, get success, and get certified, okay? Before I forget, how can you do the exam? Well, you can go to an official training center, and you need to go there and do the exam on a training center. You have to physically go there and use their resources and their testing servers and their testing environment. Or you can do this at home. If you want to do this at home, you need just a few things. You need to build a bootable media. When you enroll in the exam that it's in the remote exam, they will tell you and teach you where you can get that bootable media. It's just an ISO like any other Linux. It's just a Fedora version of theirs, so you can get the test environment going. And you just boot your laptop or whatever with that bootable media. But take care, your environment matters. You need to have a webcam. The webcam needs to be mobile. I mean, you need to have a webcam that you can just, you cannot use the laptop built-in webcam. No, you need to have an external webcam because you need to pick the webcam and pan around your room so they can see the room you are at. You need to pan the camera around. They need to see on top of the desktop, below the desk, all around you. They need to pan the camera throughout the room and approve it or not, so it can progress. If you think that the room has too many screens, a TV, too noisy or something, you will not progress. So you need to be on a quiet room with only one screen, okay? If you have a laptop and an external screen to be bigger, which it's very understandable, the laptop screen needs to be closed down. The lid needs to be closed down. So you cannot have multiple screens, only one, or the laptop or the external. If you're using the external, laptop needs to be closed, and you need to have an external webcam so you can pan it around and show the room to the proctor. The proctor is the person who's going to make sure you do everything by the book. You cannot speak throughout the exam. If you move your mouth, they may end the exam immediately. You cannot speak, even if you are speaking to yourself. You cannot speak. So go to something like a kitchen or something like that. Something that has nothing extra besides you and the computer. Okay? I cannot do the exams in this room because I have multiple screens. It will just be impossible. You don't have to use a laptop. It can be a desktop server, a desktop machine, of course, but it needs to be on a room that it's clear of noise, clear of access screens, clear of people. Just be in a quiet room and be there, you and your screen and keyboard and mouse. The keyboard and mouse, they cannot be wireless. They need to be wired to the computer you are using. No headphones. You cannot be using headphones. Okay? And you need to have a mic, either the built-in camera mic or some other mic. Speakers you can have, so you can sometimes interact with your proctor, but not headphones. You are forbidden to use headphones. Microphone, yes. It can be the microphone on your webcam, it's fine, but no headphones. They need to monitor your environment noise at all times, and you cannot use headphones. Everything is understandable, very easy to follow and to fulfill, and you don't have to go to the training center. Many people work from home away from from cities with training centers, and you can do this wherever you like. Follow along the rules. Don't discuss if you agree or not with those rules. If you don't agree, just don't take the exam remotely. But simple rules, and you can just relax, be in your own environment and do the exam. You can have a beverage with you. They allow you to have your coffee, for example, like this. This is fine, okay? But everything I just told you, you need to fulfill, and you need to follow along those rules, which are pretty simple rules, and you can be in your own home, in your cozy home, or on your office, and don't have to go to the town center and do the exam and lose time. Okay. Woo! I'm going to make a quick review of all the possible questions you may get, possible tasks you may get, and then we do the conclusions. So this is not in the exact order of the real exam. This is just order I managed to fill it out and make myself comfortable to present. But the exam, it's all about these tasks, and here we go. So configure the network. That's one of the first things you do. And typically in these exams, we have two servers. Let's call it server A. Let's call it server B. Some tasks are on A, some tasks are on B, but they will let you know which one is to be done where. So configure the network. These are just made up IP addresses. I'm not going to say, I will not say that this is the exact server names you need to assign. These are not the exact IP addresses they're going to ask you to assign. This is just something I made up so it works in my own lab environment. So give them some names, give it some IP addresses, give it some subnet masks. Use whatever preferred method you will wish. I will say this the last time throughout this video. Whatever method you prefer, NMCLI, NMTUI, whatever config files, whatever the case, if this gets configured like this and survives reboots, you are golden. IP addresses, subnet masks, host names, whatever the way you want. Then you need to configure some repositories. Okay, this is a sample configuration. Name, base URL enabled, and TPT check. This will work 99.9% of the time. Don't forget to give it name equals something. Don't forget to do this, name equals something, because if you don't, it will work. You will not fail if you don't, but you'll get an error message or a warning message in the screen. It's just annoying. Avoid that nuisance. Take 3 seconds of your time and give it a name and avoid that nuisance. You will not fail the exam if you don't give it an exam. You will not fail if you don't give it a name, but it takes 5 seconds and you get rid of that nuisance in screen, and life's good. Do a DNF clean all just to make a fresh start and search for the package and install the package, or don't say yes, just do DNF install package name to see if everything looks to be okay and go on with your life. Install an HTTP server, a simple HTTP server, DNF install, give it an index and just test. Try to see if something is wrong with SL Linux, like port assignments and all that good stuff. They will probably ask you to give it a special port to the web server, so can force you to use a port that is not 80. Use the SManage tool, open the firewall rules exception, and all of good stuff. Create a sample file. Okay, create a sample file, or they may ask you, it's rare, but they may ask you to create like a virtual host. Okay, so just go to dhd.conf like it's here, just check the notes and create a simple web server, which is fine. Okay, next it's create users, give them passwords and home folders. I'm going to scroll here. This is not all about executing each task. I have videos all about on my channel. Go and check them out. So create users, give into groups, assignment to groups, and give it permissions. Here we have a task all about permissions. Create a folder or files, assign it to users and groups, assign the read-write permissions to a set of groups, install and configure AutoFS. Go and check my video all about that. Like, subscribe, and comment. It will help. And you can just use AutoFS to auto-mount some folders. Next, you have to use create a cron job for a specific time and date with a specific user. After that, create access control lists. Not only send permissions, but also do some ACLs depending on the rules they set you at the time. Create some ACLs, read the questions multiple times if you have doubts. Connect to an NTP server. Don't be NTP server, that's not a test I ask you, but connect to a NTP server. Next, copy some files by using the find tool. Find the files and copy them. You can use this fancy stuff that I did here if you want, or just find the files and just manually copy them, because they are not going to be that many files, so 5-6 files maybe. So find the files and copy them to somewhere else. You can use that fancy stuff or just do it by hand. It's fine, because they're just going to check the destination folder if the files are there. If they are, you are golden. So create a user with the specific ID. Compress and archive a folder with a tar. You are done. Nothing special here. Pretty nice. Configure some permissions for a specific user and make it persistent. This is just basically set the umask for a specific user, or a different or a custom umask for a specific user, which is fine. This will depend. I'm giving you here an example, but this will depend on your own exam. Some exams Each exam may have a different requisite. Just read the question carefully and execute as recommended. Okay. Set the password to expire at a specific time or specific day or number of days. With the change. Allow users to use sudo or a group of users or a specific user. In this case, I use in this example the members of the admin group. Create a simple bash script. Okay. In this case, I gave you an example that used the previous find command with a simple shell script. Okay. Set the group time, set the password for the specific user. Set the root password specific server. So in this case, I use server B as an example. So you will not know the root password for server B, and you need to make sure that you use all the process for recovering the group password. Not the group password, the root password. In this case, I explain how to use the rd.break procedure. Okay, so in this case, I'm showing you using the where is it? Where is the rd.break? There it is. So here I'm using the rd.break procedure. This should work for most of the time. I'm going to make a next separate video. Like, subscribe, and comment to get notified about an alternate method of recovering the root password, not using the rd.break option. But I will make this on a separate video. It's basically evoking a specific by hand a bash terminal, but the rd.break should work for the most part. I'm going to make a separate video on how to recover the root password without the need of using rd.break. Like, subscribe, and comment to get notified, and I'll get there in a future video really soon. Okay, then you just mount, remount, auto relabel. I have a separate video just about recovering the root password using the rd.break. Go into my channel, check how to recover the root password on Red Hat machines, and I'll do this step by step, and I'll also do this on the exam prep video. So go and check it out, and I'll do all this step by step. Okay. Create a subpartition using fdisk, parted, gparted, whatever you prefer. Just create a subpartition and make sure it persists on every reboot. Create logical volumes and volume groups. Okay, go and check out my video. I'll do this. I'll do that step by step on my prep videos. Go and check it out and see all the steps being executed and thoroughly explained. Use video. Again, go and check my videos all about that. I have a video all about video. I'll do that step by step with all the explanations you needed throughout the video with all the details. Create logical volumes. Enable the TuneD profile. I also have a video all about that step by step explaining how to do that. Typically the last one is to start a container. There are too many steps to put here in this video. Go and check it out on my video all about that. I have a long video explaining step by step how to get the container started, make it start as a service, etc. So I have a video all about this task that also applies on the outside world of the exam. So how to find a container, how to start it, how to log into a container repository, and all of that good stuff. I've shown you step by step how to start a simple container to be a web server and how to make it start as a service. I have all of that on my channel, not only for the exam prep, but also for your day-to-day life. Usually this is the last question, and you should be golden and on your way to get certified. So you need to watch this video thoroughly. Watch this once, twice, even if you have to watch it on two times speed. Watch this video because all these tips can make or break your video. Your exam. Like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps. Help everybody out. Tell me your experiences. What did you find that was different from this video? Like the exam duration, some tasks that I might have forgotten. Share get that knowledge out. Let's help each other out. One last time this time. Like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you in the next one. Good luck and cheers, guys.